On the African scene, a military training jet crashed into Milestone School and College in the Ouattara area of Dhaka on Monday, killing at least 27 people, including students, a teacher, and the pilot, and injuring dozens more, in what authorities are calling the deadliest air disaster in the capital's recent history. The crash occurred around 10:12 a.m. local time when an F-7 BGF fighter jet, a Chinese-made aircraft used by the Bangladesh Air Force BAF for training missions, suffered a critical technical malfunction. Shortly after takeoff from Kurmitola Air Base, located just a few kilometers away, the pilot, Flight Lieutenant Tuki Islam, a 26-year-old graduate of the BAF Academy, was on his first solo training flight. According to a preliminary military statement, Islam attempted to steer the malfunctioning jet away from densely populated areas. Witness said the aircraft appeared to be circling, losing altitude before nosediving into the school's main administrative building. He could have ejected, but he stayed with the plane, likely trying to avoid hitting the nearby market, said a BAF official, requesting anonymity pending an investigation. He is being hailed as a hero. Lieutenant Islam died on impact. The crash triggered a massive fire that engulfed large sections of the campus. The explosion flattened parts of the school's main academic block, where morning classes had just begun. Rescue workers described a horrific scene of debris, smokes, and screams. At least 170 people were rescued from the building, including children as young as 6. Many suffered severe burns and smoke inhalation. Of those, 78 remain hospitalized, several in critical condition. Hospital officials said some victims were burned beyond recognition, complicating identification efforts. We're in a state of shock, said Principal Farida Nasrin, who sustained minor injuries during the evacuation. We have lost students, colleagues, and our sense of safety. Heart-wrenching scenes unfolded at nearby hospitals and morgues as families rushed to identify loved ones. Several parents collapsed upon receiving news of their children's death. One mother, Shahana Ahmed, sobbed uncontrollably outside Ouattara General Hospital. Her 12-year-old daughter, Sumaya, was in class when the jet struck. I packed her lunch this morning. She waved goodbye. I never thought it would be the last time, she said. Well, firefighters, emergency crews, and members of the Bangladesh Army worked for hours to extinguish the flames and search through the wreckage. The area remains cordoned off as military investigators and aviation experts begin an inquiry into the cause of the malfunction. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina expressed deep condolences and called for a full investigation. This is a national tragedy. Every life lost is a wound to our hearts, she said in a televised address, saying they will ensure that such a disaster never happened again. The government has declared Tuesday a national day of mourning. Flags will fly at half-mast and special prayers will be held across schools and mosques. The F-7 BGI, a derivative of the Chinese Chengdu J-7 itself, modeled after the Soviet MiG-21, has been in use by the Bangladesh Air Force BAF since 2013. Though relatively modernized, the aircraft has been involved in at least 3 other non-fatal incidents in recent years, raising concerns about its reliability and safety. Defense analysts say Monday's crash could intensify scrutiny over the BAF's training protocols and aircraft maintenance. As the sun sets over Dhaka, hundreds gathered for a candlelight vigil outside the school's gate, laid flowers and photos of the victims. Social media was flooded with tributes while citizens questioned how a routine training flight could end in such devastation. Classes at Milestone School and College have been suspended indefinitely. Counseling services are being arranged for survivors and bereaved families. This is not just a school tragedy, said Education Minister Deepu Moni. She said it is a national trauma, and we must come together to grieve, to support one another, and to demand accountability.